Okay.
I'm Jason Tucker. I run a company called Tucker Pro, and I also do a Monday WordPress meetup or hangout called the PC Water Cooler.
I'm Franck. I'm a freelance developer out in the Empire.
I'm Paul Milligan. I have about 4 WordPress sites that I can't leave alone, and I thought I'd stop being antisocial and come out and hang out with you.
Welcome.
I'm Bernice Arditi. I'm learning WordPress right now.
I'm Natalie Macleese. I run an agency for bookend production, the website, and I'm organizing the Southern California WordPress Meetup.
Woo! I'm sorry, you organized what?
Southern California WordPress Meetup?
Cool. Where does that meet?
LA.
Excellent.
Tomorrow.
John.
Tomorrow.
I'm Chow. I'm just an average guy.
Wow, that's such a difference for you. No extends or anything like that tonight? Or?
My name is Oscar Gonzalez. You can find me on Twitter at @NotAGrouch, and I build stuff with WordPress and I teach people how to use WordPress.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Wendy Day Brown, and I've used website templates and built them for clients, but always stayed away from WordPress, so I'm here to be enlightened.
Okay.
My name is Mary, and I'm just starting to learn WordPress.
Welcome.
I'm just a nerd.
That's okay. Eric.
Eric Stegman, and build WordPress websites for the real estate industry.
My name is Mitch Stahl. I work for a software development firm in San Pedro, and I've been given the job assignment to take over the website. So I'm scared to death.
Welcome.
My name is Billy Wynn. I'm the SEO manager for an e-commerce company, and I want to do more WordPress expert.
Okay. Dennis.
My name is Dennis Carpenter. I do inbound marketing at 24/7 Social, which is my company. And we either teach people how to do things in that marketing or we do it for them. DC.
I'm Kathy Hatfield. Lately I've been making some family history sites on WordPress.
Cool.
My name is Aaron, and I've been building websites for quite a few years. Just started WordPress a few years back, doing some nonprofit WordPress stuff.
Okay. Actually, I do a lot of nonprofit WordPress stuff. Not on purpose.
I'm Russell, an engineer by day. I'm doing some freelance website designing in the evenings, and I finally got my first paying customer this past weekend.
Congrats.
I'm David Margowski with Margowski Design. I'm a graphic designer, and I'm learning WordPress.
And David brought beer.
So my name is Dennis. I volunteer as a local organizer for Startup America Initiative, and I'm looking to use WordPress for a local chapter site website.
Great.
I'm Art. I've used WordPress for my own company.
I'm Madeline Saucedo. I'm a podcaster using WordPress for my work.
Cool. Just a real quick summary. Oh, just walked in. You get to introduce yourself. That's what you get for walking in late.
Kind of newbie to WordPress, done just a few sites, so I'm going to...
Come find a seat anywhere. We don't stand on ceremony.
Welcome.
Can I take over for a second?
No.
It'll take 2 seconds.
Go right ahead.
You got to pull anyway. So some of you know that our WordPress community here at OC WordPress extends way outside of Orange County. We've had people show up here from the Ukraine. We've had people from Australia. We've got people from up north that fly in. And one of the people from up north that flies in occasionally, she's been here 3 or 4 times. It's her birthday today. So I thought we could sing her all happy birthday. She's a social media director at Inman News as well. And if you guys could help me out with doing that, I'd really appreciate it. I'll put it into a video and put it on her Facebook wall, and we'll make her real happy.
What's her
name's
name?
Laura. Sorry. Laura Monroe. So it's just happy birthday, Laura. Ready? Hold on.
Where's she
Happy
at?
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Laura. Happy birthday to you. Wish you were here.
Thanks, guys. Very quick summary. Raise your hand if you're a developer. So those are the developers in the room. We will have networking afterwards. Keep your hands up. We will have networking afterwards. If you're looking for a developer, those are the people to talk to. Raise your hand if you're a designer, content person, project manager. Who did I miss?
How about a little bit of all of them?
A little bit of all of them. Master of all trades.
Yeah.
Give it for free beer.
There you go. There you go.
Raise your hand if you're John Chow.
Always I want to be John Chow. How's that?
There's several other meetups that meet in the area, and actually meetups that have started out of this group. So I wanted to give a couple quick announcements. Actually, your meetup I wasn't familiar with, so why don't you announce your meetup? You guys are meeting tomorrow? Is that what I
We're
heard?
meeting up tomorrow night. We are covering managing multiple WordPress sites.
Okay.
We have 4 different speakers presenting 4 different tools. It's at Cross Campus in Santa Monica at 7 o'clock.
Excellent. Suzette started a meetup called WordPress for Designers that is hopefully going to be continued. Do we have anything new on that?
Yeah, can we have that at the end?
Yes, we'll talk about that at the end. There's a Inland Empire meetup that's been starting and been getting going. Anybody have any information on that one?
I asked them and they were still looking for a location.
Okay. And then there's Andrew's meetup, which meets in Woodland Hills in the Valley. When do you know when that one?
The 4th Thursday of the month, they just have it.
4th Thursday of the month. Okay.
Oh, 3rd, sorry.
Third Thursday of the month, and that's in Topanga Canyon.
Yes.
Correct. Did I miss any other meetups that are?
Escondido.
That's right. If you're down in San Diego, North County, San Diego, so is the Escondido meetup run by Chris Lemma. I just spoke there was that last week? Yeah. So that's a good meetup as well that he just started.
Steve, I want to mention,
Yep.
Natalie and I hadn't met before, but I saw her name on the list. I read her book, and it's really cool. So if any designers in the room or developers want to learn more about jQuery, this is a great perspective.
Thank you.
Will you sign that? Will you sign that for him? All right.
I bought it based on the post, so there you go.
Very cool. Look at that. That's how this all works. In addition, there's another meetup that meets in Costa Mesa, close by here, called SMMOC. Not exactly WordPress related, but also a very good meetup. They meet almost every Saturday morning at Klingeman Creative in Costa Mesa. I think that's it for meetups.
There's one starting in Hollywood in May.
Okay. A WordPress meetup?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's one in the South Bay.
There is?
And then his next one is scheduled. Adam Silver's.
Cool.
Did you mention the Riverside one already?
I did not. The Inland Empire one?
Vanilla and Gray.
I did.
Great.
All that was said was that they're still working on a place, on a location.
Could you just, all these meetups are really interesting. Could we post them on our group?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a Facebook page.
What's that?
It's on Facebook.
I'm getting there. So I don't know if anybody's taking notes, but if you could just take down the meetups that we talked about, we'll put them on the Facebook group. So let's talk about how we stay connected when we're not meeting in person. We do have a private Facebook group that's called the OC WordPress group, and this is a very active group. Anything goes. We talk about beginning WordPress all the way up to advanced stuff on this group, and it is a very lively, active, and pretty fun community. So this is how we stay in touch when we're not meeting in person. If you want to, on this group, send me an email through Facebook afterwards and I'll add you to the group. We do keep it private to keep the spammers out, and we're pretty diligent about that. The other two things I want to announce is the next WordCamp that's coming up is WordCamp San Diego. If you didn't buy tickets already, you're screwed. And to put it in technical terms, you're host. So it did sell out within a matter of about half a day. So I'm sorry about that, but that's the next WordCamp that's coming up in our local area. And then after that, on June 1st, is the OC WordPress meetup. You have any idea when tickets go on sale for that?
We'll probably do about 2 months to 6 weeks beforehand.
Okay.
So it'll be after WordCamp San Diego, we'll probably do that.
You want to stay tuned and pay attention especially on the OC WordPress group. We announce right when tickets go on sale, and take my word for it, if you don't grab them right then, you're going to be, what's the technical term for it? Screwed again. So grab the tickets as soon as you can. In addition, a bunch of us are actually going to Miami. So there's a Miami WordCamp coming up at the beginning of April. So a bunch of us got together. We're going to go, and several of us are speaking at WordCamp Miami. So that's going to be fun. So pay attention to upcoming WordCamps. When is Los Angeles WordCamp? That's more fall, right? September. Okay.
First or second weekend? September 11th usually.
Okay. Did I miss anything with my regular announcements? All right, I'm kind of hopped up on cold medicine, so that's why I'm not drinking tonight. Not that stopped me in the past. All right. Tonight I'm going to talk about post formats. It is a running joke on our Facebook group. I'm not sure how it got started, but it's kind of funny. So anybody using post formats now on their site? I can't imagine it's going to be many. Anybody not know what post formats are, or what I'm even talking about? It's okay.
Kindergarten.
What's that?
Kindergarten. Yeah, no.
Kindergarten. Okay. So let's talk about post formats. There is a reason I'm specifically talking about post formats now, and I will get to that at the end of this presentation. One of the products that I always talk about in these meetups is DesktopServer. If you're running any local web servers on your computer, you might be using WAMP or XAMPP. DesktopServer was developed by a local guy out of San Diego named Stephen Carroll, who's spoken here. He was actually at the meetup in Escondido. Very, very nice guy, and he's developed a great product. So this is a way to run a local box on your computer, run a development environment on your computer, and do it in a very user-friendly way. So if you've wrestled at all with MAMP or WAMP or XAMPP, or those things seem too daunting, this is the product to sort of get you into that. So this is how I run my local environment when I'm developing for WordPress. I launched DesktopServer, and now I've got all my sites running locally. So the site that I'm going to look at today is just running right off of my local box. Okay? So what I'm looking at here, I've set up a test site I just called it Post Formats. I'm actually looking at the 2013 theme. So if you're using 2012 now, 2013 is in development. It will be out with WordPress 3.6. And it's actually available in a beta form or early alpha form now. So I'm running 2013 here. I'm running it specifically because it leverages post formats. So what's a post format? So a post format is this. Here's the post that I've created within this site. You see right next to it, there's these indicators here. So status, quote, link, chat, gallery, video. Those are post formats. So these all still live within my post area, but each post can actually take on its own sort of characteristics, its own shape within the theme, if your theme is leveraging those. Now, most of you haven't seen these because this is theme specific. Your theme specifically has to support post formats for these to even show up inside of WordPress. Most themes don't. So 2013, I think, did 2012 support post formats? So 2012 does. But 2013 really displays them. So most recent, or some recent themes will support this. Not all themes are going to do this. So your theme specifically has to have post format support enabled for this to even show up. So where do I access post formats? Oh, it's right here. There's an extra panel that will show up within your post called format. So the formats I have in here are standard, which is just a normal post, aside, audio, chat, gallery, image, link, quote, status, and video. Those are the built-in post formats in WordPress, and for the developers in the room, you can't extend those. So you can't add additional post formats. Those are locked in. That is a true statement, right, Brandon?
Sure.
Yeah, that's a true statement. So what do these do? If I look at my site, the front end of my site, this is just the home page of the site that I've created. There's a status update. So I'm giving a presentation at the OC WordPress meetup. That's a quote. There's a normal post. So all they've done in 2013 is they've given a different background color to each of the post formats. So video is orange, gallery is yellow, quotes are brown. So that's how the post formats are distinguished within the 2013 theme. If I click on, hang on one second, if I click on one of these, let's go into the background also sticks with the post format when I'm in the single version of the page. Yes?
I was just curious, where in the theme do you find out if it supports the post format?
I will show you at the end.
Okay, cool.
I'll get there.
Cool.
We will get a little geeky. Okay? So let's look at this normal post here. It's in white. If I go and edit this post and change it to video and update it, view of my site again, now it's in orange. So that's really all the post formats does inside of 2013. There are a couple little layout differences. So you can see inside of status, it's given a little border here and a dash to indicate this is something different. So there are some other things that happen based on post format, but mostly what it is, it's a front end display mechanism. So it's telling WordPress, this is the format of this post, do something different, if your theme developer has enabled that or has coded for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so why am I talking about this? Well, this is how it looks in WordPress 3.5.1 today. So formats just sit here in this panel. That's about it. But we, us developers in the room, a lot of us will get the daily builds. So 3.6, this is actually being blown out. It's changing quite a bit. So they're going to take this technology and make it more accessible for the back end of WordPress. So let's see what that looks like. Suzette, give me the URL again.
What is it? Sorry.
For you, what's the URL for the test?
Oh, Beetle Project.
What is it?
BeetleProject.com.
The one you added me to today?
Wait, maybe
Beetle.
Beta Delta.
Thank you. All right. So Suzette, I was looking at 3.5. Suzette actually has a daily build of 3.6 running on this. So if I look at the back end of this, so let's look at that Harlem Shake video. So post formats are now going up here. So they've put them into tabs. That's what's changing. And when you click on a post format, it's got some extra information based on that post format. So in the video post format, it's actually given an area for a YouTube embed. And this is all just alpha, so this is probably not what this is going to look like in the end. But the functionality is actually there, and it's working. So Suzette created this video, put in an embed code for the video, and if I view that post, it's now throwing that video in and coloring it orange because it knows it's a video post. So that's why this is becoming important, because those post formats are really going to be leveraged in 3.6. Make sense? You make a new post here. This is not perfect yet, not all of these work, but so there's a gallery. If I click on gallery, it's asking me for the gallery shortcode. If I click on link, it's asking me for the link URL. Image, it's asking me to select an image to go in that spot. So that's coming in 3.6. So for the developers in the room, what do you need to do to leverage post formats? That was the question. So today, I went and downloaded just an empty theme, and the starter theme that a lot of us use in the room that we talk about a lot on the Facebook group is called Underscores. So Underscores is really a bare bones, no design theme, and is meant really to start from scratch. So if you are developing themes, that's the one that I recommend. It's one a lot of the developers in the room are going to recommend. That's the one that a lot of us are using now. So Underscores by itself doesn't look like anything. It's just text on a page. There is no design. I downloaded Underscores, and I just started playing with it a little bit. All I did was I just added some really basic design to underscores. So what we're seeing here is a header, a nav bar, and then just posts. So that's all I did today is added some CSS to make those things display. Okay? The other thing I added and this was the question, is this line here. So to add post, or to make your theme, and again, I don't want to get too much into code in this meetup, but to make your theme compatible with post formats, that's the line of code that you add to your functions document. So it's add theme support post formats, and then you list out the formats that you want to add. Underscores, I think, comes by default with everything up to quote, and then I added the ability for link, gallery, and status. So you actually call out specifically what formats you want to support when you're developing your theme. Yes?
So these formats will be supported natively in WordPress 3.6, and so we can add on to any theme?
They're not supported. Well, the support is built in. You have to enable them in your theme to make them work.
Okay, answer the question.
So they are there. They may not be turned on in the theme that you're using.
Now, when we get differentiating color in our theme?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So this is the line of code you want to be aware of if you're developing themes, is add theme support post formats. Yes?
And you're really limited to what post formats they've allowed for?
That's correct. So whatever my theme supports, that's what I'm limited to. So it is, post formats are theme specific.
Can you extend beyond what the core?
You cannot. And Brandon confirmed that. I heard him say it.
The only thing you can do is you can fake it by renaming them. That's the only thing I heard.
I wouldn't recommend it. And it's pretty well documented in the core that these are the post formats that are there. You cannot extend this. Don't mess with us. So yeah. So no, it's not like custom post types, which you can make anything. These are specific post formats. Okay? Any other questions on this? So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, if you're in kindergarten, that's okay.
No, actually, I got it.
Good.
Cool.
Excellent.
Do they provide
The cold medicine's not so.
Is there an RSS feed per format? Do you know?
I don't know. I would imagine there's. I don't know. Maybe maybe one of the developers in the room can look that up while we're. The question was, is there an RSS feed per post format? I don't remember if you can query by post format.
I've never seen one.
Yeah, there's one for
post type.
Yeah, there's one for post type.
And there's post types, categories, and tags.
I don't remember if you can query by post format specifically. You'd have to be able to do that to get the RSS feed. Okay, so that's how to add theme support for post formats. So here's what I did next. So I got my posts, or I got my underscores theme running. I'm going to inspect this area here, and this is going to be a little bit tough to see, but each of these articles has a class on it, and it actually shows the format in there. So this article is format status. This one's format quote, format video. So those are actually built into, well, there's a WordPress hook for those, but most of these are going to be built right into your theme. So that's where I found out how to stylize these different formats. So format status, format quote, format video, those are all built right into the theme. And again, I didn't customize underscores at all. All I did was just change the CSS. So this came pre-built into underscores. Okay? So to make these look different, what I then did was added those to my style. So down here I've got, let's see if I can make this bigger. So at the end of my style, I just added in some references for those specific formats. Okay? So here for status, I'm just going to give that a background color. Okay, now if I go back in and reload, this is a status. I'm giving a presentation at the OC WordPress meetup. Reload, now it's red. Okay, so that's how they're doing it in 2013. It's just a CSS change is really all they're doing. They're doing a little bit more customization, but that's the basics. So if I wanted to go in and change all my post formats to make them custom, I'm just editing the CSS. So now quote will be green, sorry. Starting to look like Christmas.
Dark Christmas.
Yeah. It's nice, isn't it? I should sell this theme. That's a premium theme if I've ever seen it. So anyway, that's all I'm doing inside of the style is just adding CSS to those specific formats.
You know the color codes by heart?
I know some of them.
Wow, that's awesome.
You know all the cool kids are doing HSL.
There's actually, if I wanted something better, I could actually choose
all the lyrics to every Boys to Men song.
There's only one Boys to Men song. One of the other things I did just to get fancy today is I went to CSS Generator. Actually, there's a different one for gradients. So I wanted to add gradient backgrounds to some of these things. Because I'm cool like that.
An animated rainbow gradient.
Absolutely.
You're the one that looks at bronze.
Pointy birds.
Give me a second. I'm gonna switch over to my broadband card because everybody's hogging up my bandwidth. Jason. Oh, he's not even there. Shut him down. No.
John's gonna insist you do that.
Give me 1 second here. So this is I found this gradient editor. So if I wanted to get really fancy, let's go ahead and take this. I'll take this green one here.
By fancy means really suck.
So all I'm doing is I'm copying all of this code that just showed up over there. I don't know what any of it does. I'm going to paste it into here under format status. Now we'll go back in and reload our site.
The quote was.
There we go. Now we've got a gradient going.
Bad.
Now we're talking.
So the last question was, let's say I really wanted to customize each of these sections. So all I've done so far is CSS. Again, I'm not going to get too far in the code here, but the way post formats really gets stylized is in your theme. In underscores, it comes with content page and content single. If you wanted to do something specific for post formats, you'd add content dash and the name of the format inside of your theme. So all I did was duplicated content single. I called it content video. So now if I have video, it's going to call that part of the theme instead of content single. Again, I don't want to get too techy for this group, but that's how you if you really wanted to get stylized or something specific with that format, that's how you do it. You add that piece to your theme. Everybody's looking at me funny. So all I did here was I added a line here that says an amazing video. So now if I go back to my theme, we look at the video post. Let me take out the blue. So it shows a video and then that bold line, an amazing video underneath it. So that's pulling from that part for this post format. So this one is stylized based on whatever I've put in that content-video PHP file. It's called a template part. Again, we'll cover those more on Developer Day. So that's where to look at if you want more information on this. Get template.
And that's part of the normal WordPress hierarchy?
Absolutely. So if you're looking in the codex, look for get template part. I think that's all I got, unless there's any questions. Yeah, Dennis?
How do you see this being used?
I hate to mention the other blogging platform here because I'm going to get a lot of dirty looks. This is a Tumblr competitor. That's what this is. Mm-hmm. So if you've used Tumblr at all, Tumblr is almost exactly
Tumblr
these.
In the sense of style, not in the sense of social network, not in terms of.
That's correct. Tumblr in terms of how they lay out their different post formats. These post formats are almost identical to what Tumblr does.
It's not pretty.
What's that?
It's not pretty.
It can be.
It's not pretty. You're right. And without getting too much into a debate here, I don't like where they're going with the tabs. I think the tabs actually clutter up the interface.
You're talking about the actual sites themselves.
Well, my theme's not pretty on purpose. Is that what you meant?
I mean, I don't see the game shit.
I think some designers are going to do some cool things with post.
Yeah, I think it's more.
There are times when I
What is it?
long post sites formatting for me. Part of the thing that kind of tweaks me about WordPress in general is how hard it is on the back end of WordPress for the average human being to go in and do stuff. And I can submit something real quick blog post, press this plug, press this bookmark, this is super intelligent, it doesn't do the same things that Tumblr does. And so I think WordPress is bleeding off a lot of people who otherwise would come to a WordPress platform, be on a WordPress platform.
This is your theme.
Because it's so easy. Even on the WordPress iPhone app, you're looking at code. You should be looking at code for the average user.
So this is a theme that Brandon developed. This is on Theme Foundry. This is called Shelf. He's shown this before here. These are based off of post formats, correct?
Yeah, each one. The first one's an audio format.
That's an audio format.
Yeah.
That's a post, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Image.
Image is the next one.
Video. So each of those is a post format. So there's a cool example of something you can do with built-in post formats. And this is running now.
Yeah, and there's no reason why somebody couldn't take examples that are already built on Tumblr and recode those WordPress themes and have those populated in WordPress. So take a look at just about any Tumblr blog that's out there. All of those things with proper post type formatting can be reformatted into WordPress templates.
But now, I mean, you're complaining because it's intrusive on the dashboard, right?
I don't like the way they're going with the UI. I don't like I don't think the tabs are.
Seems really like.
I think it's cumbersome. I think it's clutter. Whereas opposed to this, if you look at Tumblr, that's how I post a photo.
It's quick, it's easy.
It's simple, it's easy.
Exactly. So it'll get there. This is the first pass, and it's still evolving. So, but I do think there's a lot that's going to happen around this from a theme standpoint. So that's what's coming. Any other questions or thoughts or comments on post formats before I turn it over to Jeff? All right, Jeff.
Now we're going to dumb down this show.
Jeff Turner.
So, I don't know about you, but even the general meetups to me have started to become like a Dr. Seuss book. I sit back and I listen to Mamp, Bamp, Lamp, all of those things, and literally my eyes glaze over. So
your IQ's a lot lower.
it is. Substantially, significantly lower.
Hey, I can stand right back in there for once. Absolutely.
So I want to talk about things that the average human being can do without having to understand code on the back end. And in this case, we're going to take a look at what is essentially a jQuery plugin. And since we have someone in the room who actually wrote a book on jQuery, now I feel really stupid and not very intelligent because I don't even know what that means. Seriously. And I say this because if I can do this, literally, if I can do what I'm showing you tonight, any human being can do what I'm showing you tonight. Because that's how stupid I am. Steve's right. I'm at least a standard deviation lower in intelligence than him, at least. Okay. So, my wife's charity blog, mffo.org, uses a Woo theme called Scrollighter. We love it. Woo Themes, I think, does some pretty good responsive themes. You would think that if you're selling a responsive theme out in the consumer marketplace, that it would take advantage of you just being able to post a YouTube link the way you can in any other WordPress blog and take and make that link responsive. But it doesn't. When you post the link in, it looks like this. What we wanted to do is set up some individual pages for the directors. All of the directors have been to Kenya and visited the orphanage, so they all have experiences with the girls. We want the top of it to be a video where they talk about the girls, the bottom of it to be a little bit of a blurb, and then for them to have their own donation widgets on individual pages. So that was the goal. Have this video spread out at the top, but have it be responsive. And so the solution to that was Fitbid for WordPress. Who said they used it? Jeff Hester said he used another one to make the YouTube links and Vimeo links responsive, but his uses short tags. So I want these links to work without having to remember shortcodes. See, I don't even know what they're called. I don't want to remember shortcodes. I don't want to have to put something in front of the YouTube link and put a bracket in front of it and remember what it is and then remember how to close out the bracket on the back end. I don't want to have to remember that. I just want to take the YouTube link, I want to post it in the back end of WordPress, and I want it to do what it's supposed to do. Right? Does that make sense? And so that's what Fitbid for WordPress does. Very simple plugin to do that, and it's fully responsive. Okay? Supports YouTube and Vimeo, and for all of the geeks in the room, it also allows you to put in some custom code that allows you to make it responsive for any other custom video format you want. Yes?
I'm guessing there might be some people in the room that don't want responsive.
Exactly.
So
Wow.
I do,
See,
but I'm thinking that newbie.
So I'll show you what responsive is in a second with these exact sites, but I wanted to do slideshow because I wanted to be like Jeffrey Zinn and Suzette Franck. So it was very important to me here and look like I actually prepared something and know what I'm talking about, because that's what slides say. What slides say is, I prepared, I'm a professional. Right? Right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that was very important to me. So literally the plugin site says, install the plugin, that's all you have to do. That's really not all you have to do. You have to do one more thing, and this is for, and I don't even know how to explain what I did. Okay? Just put a little P right here. Right here in this little blank in the back end of the plugin. It's under appearance and settings. Just put a P in there. And what that basically means is it's going to look for the link anywhere it's not inside of some other tag other than what the paragraph tag is, right? Is that what that means? Something like that. So that's all I'm doing, is putting that P in there and hitting Save Changes. That's it. And then I can do stuff like this, because the only shortcode that I can remember is this HR shortcode that puts a horizontal rule. That's the only one I can remember, and so I use that one a lot. And so now I can just go in and put in a YouTube link, and now these videos are responsive. And what responsive means is they'll change size as the size of the browser changes from an iPhone to a tablet to a big screen. Okay? So let me show you how that works.
Welcome to the HTML meetup.
Well, yeah.
I got a question. If your theme is responsive, would the video be automatically responsive in it or no?
Not necessarily.
No, that's the problem. So let me show you how this works now. So before, in this theme, the video, if I just put in the link, the video would come in at a squished size, and no matter what I did, it would stay at that squished size. So as this, and I'm not going to try and change this right now. I've got to do this up here because I didn't mirror my site. What would happen? See how it's changing in size as I scale down the website? When I got down here to an iPhone size, the YouTube video was sticking off the side, and you can only see about half of it. So the video itself wasn't responsive. The rest of the website was changing as the width changed, but the video didn't. And so all this plugin does is make it so I don't have to do anything now. I stick in my link, it's responsive, my video responds, everything responds, life is good. The other thing it does is it lets you take advantage of some things that out of the box you can't take advantage of in themes like Woo themes, like with columns, for example. So let me go find a couple things here. So here on my presentation videos, where I really pretend I'm a speaker.
Do you have slides in?
I actually do use slides in front of larger audiences.
Slides.
Slides. That's the German word you may not be familiar with. Right? And so it functions the same way here. You'll notice it. But the thing it allows me to do now is take advantage of columns, whereas before with videos, without doing some serious work, I couldn't do it. Now I can just use the column feature in the back end and let the responsive stuff work for me, because all I'm doing is pasting in links. What's that?
Can you play that video?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
That video's got millions of views.
This video's got 60 million views, something like that.
60?
Yeah. All right. So anyway, that's my son. But anyway, that was easy. That was easy for someone like me to do. And when I say someone like me, I also mean all of the people who write at mffo.org who couldn't give a crap, who never come to a WordPress meetup, who don't know any of it. All they want to do, if I tell them, just take your YouTube link and put it in your post where you want it, they get that. They can understand that. If I were to have to say, all right, I need you to go start with this short code, and then I want you to paste the YouTube link in, and I want you to close it out, but put it in brackets. Don't put it in carets. It's got to be brackets specifically, or it's not going to work properly. We've lost people already. And I think probably most of you geeks in the room who've got clients, not forcing them to use shortcodes is a better way for people to actually do the things you'd like them to do with your design in the back end, in my experience. Yeah.
Is it a free
Yes.
plugin?
Yes, it's a free plugin.
There's a link on the OC WordPress group.
Yes. Any questions? Yes.
I'm assuming the paragraph, the P that you put in, is allowed you to get the information down below. Is that why you put the P in?
No, I put the P in because without putting the P in, it didn't do anything.
Oh.
I installed it like they said, and I didn't do anything. And then I went into the plugin, and I clicked on the little thing that said help, which was an indication that I might get some help. Because even though I'm at least 1 or 2 standard deviations less intelligent than Steve, I do know what help means, and I know how to click a link. So I've got that going for me. And it's a really big deal when I figure these things out for myself. And I actually emailed Steve and said, look what I did. And he was very proud of me. It's really great. It's really great.
So always click help.
That is the rule. Always click help. Of course, when you need it.
It most likely was something that was just not in your theme that needed to be there.
Probably.
So it's probably theme specific.
Yeah. So my guess is you could look. Yes, you might.
It's because it needs to know the container to set the width to, so you're telling it paragraph
Yep.
within the paragraph. So it's going to set it to the width of the paragraph.
Yep.
Because if you don't tell it what element to use as a width, then it doesn't
Yep.
do anything.
And so if you do anything, so when I was doing these columns, again I can't see anything here.
Just use a star.
I could use a star. So you'll notice here, when I first did these columns right here, the HTTP was sitting up against the side of this bracket, and the back of the bracket was sitting up against the link. It couldn't tell it was sitting in a paragraph then. I had to separate those out on different lines so that it could tell it was in a paragraph. So it was tell what kind of format to put it in. Does that make sense? So it allows you then to override that responsive if you want to for any reason as well. So you could use the little bracketed YouTube short code that Woo gives you to set specific widths if you want to, and override that responsive characteristic on something that you want to, although I have no idea why you want to. Any other questions? I hope not, because I'm really not that bright.
Not my question, but another plugin suggestion.
Yes.
Jason actually wrote about this, and it was actually called Fluid Video Embeds.
Yeah.
So in case somebody has an issue with FitBit, because I've used that one before too, you can try that one.
That one doesn't require you to do any shortcodes. You can do a shortcode if you like, but you don't have to.
Don't have to either. So another one, Fluid Video Embeds. No shortcodes.
For all the geeks in the room, it goes back to YouTube and asks it what the height and width is of the video, and then it replies back and actually sets the aspect ratio for the video so it never gets squishy or anything weird like that.
Awesome sauce. Are there any easy questions that I might be asking? Awesome, thank you. Yes. Yeah.
How do I get columns?
Okay, so in this specific theme, I'll show you how you get columns. Let me redo my. This is why we're here. Oh man, broke stuff. Hold on. I'm going to do my very best, Steve. Oh, it's okay. I'll get it back. Hold on one second.
Send that forward.
Tell them.
The columns that we're going back to can be for not only video, but for text.
Yeah. So let me show you how that works.
What theme are you using again?
ScrollLighter. But I believe this column format works in every Woo theme the same way. So what I'm going to show you should work. I'll go in the back of MFFO and just set up a. So here's the way it works inside of Woo themes. I don't know how it works in other themes because, again, I'm not that bright. It's right under here, column layout. And so basically it pulls up a little menu and it'll drop in the short codes for me. So I just tell it how many columns I want. So in this case, I'm going to do 3 columns. 1/3, I could do a 2/3 column like this. So the 1/3, 2/3 inside of the post. Or I can go back and say, no, I want 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and then it inserts that stuff right here. So if let me just save this, if I preview this, you're going to see that column 1/3, column 1/3, and column 1/3 are going to show up as 1/3 in this post here.
This is specific to the Woo framework.
Specific to the Woo framework.
There's also a plugin called Shortcodes Ultimate that allows you to do that.
We're going to talk about it just a minute.
Shortcodes Ultimate?
Yeah, we'll talk about the alternatives in that.
And I may be slowing down on this network for some reason. It's probably Jason's fault. It's always Jason's fault.
It's not good blame.
Okay, see, column 1/3, column 1/3, column 1/3. I'll make it easier for you to see, and I'll go down and make this.
It's cool.
Is that cool?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Any other questions?
What were the plugin alternatives that were just mentioned for this?
Shortcodes Ultimate.
Shortcodes Ultimate?
And it does all kinds of shortcuts that are pretty cool, like columns, spoilers.
Shortcodes Ultimate.
It's really slick.
Awesome.
If you look at the screenshot, you can see.
Buttons, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Lasers.
Nice.
This is the proper way to do it. If you want the improper way to do it, you might look at table press.
Awesome.
I'm making a joke for you guys.
Any other questions? before my brain overheats and I have to go take a nap.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, thanks everybody. Now for some real slides.
Slides? Those are good. Do you have slides?
Yes.
You have slides. You don't have slides, you're not
There's my slides. Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk about Edit Flow, and this plugin is excellent if you are a content maker, because there's so much that you can do. It really helps facilitate a lot of collaboration between you and other writers or other people that are reviewing your content. Where are my content people? Who does content in here? Awesome. All right, so let me get started. Okay, so I'm Suzette Franck. I'm the WordPress evangelist at Media Temple. I'm speaking at WordCamp San Diego and WordCamp Miami, along with Steve and a bunch of other people, so that's fun. This speaker deck is already out on the internet, so you don't have to take copious notes because it's all up there. So what is Edit Flow? This is not the right slide. Okay, this is the right slide. I think it got missed. Anyway, what Edit Flow is, it's a suite of applications that allow you to have better control over who's seeing your draft posts. And there's different tools in there for like notifying different people when the status of your post changes, and I'll show you that. And there's a bunch of other cool little tools in there as well. And then just like any plugin, when you install it, you'll just go to Plugins, Add New, search for Edit Flow, click on Install, click on Activate, and then you will get your Edit Flow menu on the left side. And then this is a free plugin, so you don't have to worry about it. The basic features of Edit Flow, there's a calendar that allows you to see all the posts on your blog, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But it's just a quick way to kind of see, like, in a calendar layout, like what you have scheduled to be published. Custom statuses is really awesome. So instead of, like now in WordPress you have draft and private and published. This actually allows you to create your own statuses, so you can say like pending review. I think it gives you a few that are built in, but it does allow you to create your own statuses as well.
Awesome.
Editorial comments is really good because it's just, what this does is it adds a little meta box that allows you to put editorial comments in the back end that is not viewable by the public. So it's just more for the other editors of the blog. The editorial metadata, that is where you can create fields that kind of go along with your post, like if you need to, for instance, say that your post needs a photo. So you want a checkbox to say that it needs a photo. It allows you to create extra fields for your post, so you can kind of keep track of like when the publish date is, when you need to have different sections of it done. It's really cool, and I'll show you some screenshots of what that all looks like. Notifications is awesome because what that allows you to do is basically specify different people that you want to be notified every time the status of the blog post changes. So if it goes from draft to pending review, that person will get an email, and you don't have to have like this weird email chain going around because it's already handled for you. The story budget is another way to view all the posts on your blog. It's just giving you kind of a different view of that, and it'll make sense when I show it to you. And user groups kind of go hand in hand with notifications, in that you can take a bunch of your users and group them together, kind of like a department like you would have in a company. And then you can set the notifications to go to that whole department instead of just to individual. So that's pretty handy. So after you activate Edit Flow, what it does by default, you'll get this post, this box on your dashboard, and that's just giving you details about what you have out there. Those are the different statuses of the posts, and it's just kind of telling you what's going on there. Everything that you do will be controlled pretty much through this. This is right on the menu, Edit Flow right here. you'll go to this, and this looks a lot to me like Jetpack, so in that you have like different applications or different features, and you can enable or disable them per group. So you don't have to use all of it, you can use some of it, whatever you want to do, it allows you to do that. So the calendar, this one I had a hard time with because it doesn't really, you activate the calendar and it doesn't really tell you, oh, you have a calendar here. It's hidden underneath the dashboard actually. So if you go to dashboard and then calendar, you'll see the calendar. I don't know if you can see the lines on that very well, but it's just kind of a calendar format. So this would be, hard to see, but this is pending review, this is a post, and there's some other posts up here that are published. And it just kind of gives you a breakdown visually of where your posts are at. The other really cool thing about the calendar is that not only do you get to have this graphical version, but there's also filters at the top. So you can kind of filter them down by, I think the first one is post status, and then the next one, kind of hard to see, is categories, users, and types. So you can select those and pick a drop down and it will filter everything out but those. So that's pretty handy, especially if you have a ton of posts. So after the next one, you'll go back to the edit flow on the sidebar here to enable your custom statuses. And if the feature is not enabled, you'll see this green enable button. So you'll click on enable, and usually that gives you another button for options. So that's what that is. So to enable the custom statuses, you just need to click on the enable, and then on, it's really hard to see, but it says edit statuses. And what that does is it brings you to another screen that looks like very much like taxonomy posts or taxonomy. You can add brand new statuses here. So by default, they have pitch, in progress, draft, and pending review. But you can make one just for kids or whatever you want. But it's more kind of to show what step you are in the progress of publishing that article. So you can use it however it makes sense. Editing the custom. So once you've enabled the custom statuses, where this shows up on your post, if you can see over here, it's added, it's normally would say draft or published right there. Right now it says week rules. But if you click on that drop down, it gives you all the different statuses that you can change. And then you would just click on save or publish for that. It's kind of weird in edit flow because everything kind of does flow into each other. So you might see that you enable one feature, but it's enabling that also for another feature. So it's really tied in, it's really integrated in there very well, I think. The next one is dashboard widgets. And all this does, when you enable it, is adds this posts I'm following, because there's an option for you to follow posts. So that just gives you a look of that on the dashboard. The editorial comments, this is like my favorite feature, I think, out of this whole thing. Because what this allows you to do... Yeah.
I'm sorry, I might have missed it. When you put in custom statuses,
yes,
does that also allow you to assign what a user can commit to as a status?
I don't think it's tied into user roles in that way. Yeah, you mean like so that you can have like different roles managing different sections?
Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to, I might be able to set something into a review, for example,
yes,
write it, not publish.
Yes. Yeah, but it's not really tied in, it's not really connected to the role. So editorial comments anyway is, so you can enable these on posts or pages. That's the settings. And then when you go to your post or page, if you scroll down below the edit box, you'll get a box like this. And all you need to do is click on the red button and add some comments. I don't think you can edit these once they're up there. There's like a typo in there somewhere. But it's just a good way to give general feedback on the post that's not visible to the public. So if you're working with another person, you could say, oh, you know, you should really like do this in your article. And it's just recorded on the back end. The editorial metadata is really cool because that's where you can actually create new fields that kind of go along with your post. So on here, for an example, they have who the article is assigned to, first draft date, published date, and needs photo. But you can use these or you can make your own up altogether. And it works very much like taxonomies where you just put in the name and the slug and the description. And also what type. You can have different fields. It could be a checkbox. It could be just like a plain text field. It could be a date picker. So it's really good area to kind of play around a little bit and see what's possible. And what that looks like on the post side, when you're editing a post on the right, there'll be that editorial metadata meta box. That's meta. And so that you can record that information with the post when you publish it. The next one is notifications. I talked a little bit about notifications. There's the setting that they have for it is just enable it on posts or pages. I haven't tried this with custom post types, so I'm not sure if that would show up on there. It probably would, but it's worth playing with. But after that, so you configure your notifications, and then what that does is at the very bottom below your edit box, it adds this notifications box. And in there it says select the users and user groups that should receive notifications when the status of this post is updated or when editorial comment is added. So now Suzette Tester will always be notified if there's any changes made to this post, always be notified, which is kind of cool. The story budget it's another way to view a look at all of your different stories, but just in a different format. So instead of having the calendar view where it's very visual, like a calendar, this is just kind of like as more chronological order here. So if you mouse over any of these links, you can edit from here. It's just another way, and it also has the filters on top that you can kind of filter out your content to narrow it down to something specific. And then the user groups. The user groups are pretty cool and they tie into notifications. So basically you would set up your different user groups. I believe there's some that are pre-built, but you can remove them or rename them. And you can add your own. And it's, again, that same kind of user interface where it's just like adding a taxonomy. So you just put in your name and your description, and that's all that you need to do for a user group. And then what happens there is if you click into the user group, you can actually, right here will be a list of all the editors on the blog, or anybody that has a role on the website will be listed here. And you can check them off. If you have user groups defined, those will be listed here as well, and you can check those off. But it ties in really well to notifications. And this is what it looks like on the dashboard end. Below the edit box, you'll see the user groups on the right, and you can select that, and everybody in that group will be notified. So it's just a really good way to kind of get like the whole team working together on the same thing. Does anyone have any questions?
It's free, right? It's a free plugin?
Yes, it is a free plugin.
So Suzette, that calendar that you showed, would you use that as like an editorial calendar where a group would work up what the editorial post would be for?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like you can schedule out your post for the blog, and you can just kind of see like what you have coming. It's just like I know at Media Temple we use it for our main blog because we have a lot of different authors writing, so we can kind of keep tabs on what's coming up. So it's really good when you start working in larger groups.
Collaborative.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you.
How come she can give hard questions?
Because you announced you're stupid.
Clearly needed better slides.
Work in progress.
All right. What else should we talk about tonight? That was for the presentations. Let's do some Q&A. What's on your mind?
What was it about the WordPress designers group?
Do you guys want to announce that now, or do you want to wait till the end?
Yeah. Okay. Can you come up to the head?
Sure.
You have a song prepared to sing when you do the announcement? The producer sing a song for us.
Sarah and Elizabeth.
Yeah. Let's see. Where's your internet at here? I'm not a Mac person, honestly.
Oh, you want
browser?
Yeah.
Hit one of those up.
Okay.
And open up the meetup group.
Okay.
Is that what you were?
Oh yeah. Did we post them?
Maybe we didn't.
Maybe we didn't yet.
Did you guys?
I have a lot of albums coming out right now, and they ate my brain.
I think this is it. I think this will give something. Okay. So we are having a WordPress design meetup. I'm a soft-spoken person, so I don't speak very loud. But we are resurrecting Suzette Franck's group, and we are meeting the first Mondays of the month. And basically, we're going to be very similar format but different, right? So we're going to go over user response, user experience, responsive web design. So we're going more in the creative part of it. So we're going to go into that right brain side of things.
Where are you meeting?
Oh, we're meeting actually here.
Oh.
So you all know how to get here, right?
I have no idea how to get here.
Listen, will you be covering CSS?
CSS 3.
Yeah, we can.
So HTML5 related to WordPress. It'll be, we'd love to have jQuery meetings, guys. We're looking for speakers as well. So if you have something that you're working on that you would like to present, we would love to have that.
When's your first meeting?
So the first meeting would be
Monday the 4th. So a week, is that a week from? No, not a week from today.
It's a week from today.
Oh my God.
No, we're okay. We're all right.
And when were you going to let me know?
Oh, Sarah.
I thought.
I'm joking.
I'm joking with you. They both look like a deer in the headlights there for a second.
Wait.
How many drugs am I on right now?
So I think what we'll do next time is we'll go over see these tabs. I don't know if you noticed that there's tabs here, but we'll go over how to make these tabs, and we'll go over some display widgets. So we'll talk about some. We're beginning. So we'll talk about some of these things, plugins, and then we'll go over how to make a child theme. So that's basically what we'll do. I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah. And
What time does it start?
7.
7.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
No.
And then we don't know what we'll meet after. We have to figure that out. But I'm kind of fond of Seuss. Went there at school. I was going to school, but it's pretty divey, so I don't know. But
Open to suggestions.
or BJ's or something. So yeah, basically,
This is on meetup.com.
I think so.
Yeah.
We now need a WordPress meetup on the third Monday of the month, just to fill the calendar.
Yeah. So if you have one,
Can we have a WordPress meetup about WordPress meetups on the third Monday?
I like that.
I think that might cause a rift in the space-time.
Basically, we're especially on Dev Day and sometimes a little bit here, sort of get more into the codey parts of things. This would be more on the user-facing side of things. Ideally, we'd like to get into some topics as well about user-friendly design. When you look at a website, what are the things that make you think, the people who put this website together actually know what they're doing, and it's easy for me to use this website. It doesn't make me feel stupid, and I want to come back.
Oh, there it is. Wait, where'd that go? How do you move this thing up?
Are you already on meetup.com?
We are, but do you have the admin rights?
Yeah, I gave you admin rights.
Okay. We will have that up there as soon as possible.
What's that?
We're having a week.
We do have it. There is a meetup group for it, but we haven't added the information for it yet. Here are some topics that we do actually have things a lot more planned out than how we're coming across. So we do have some plans. So if you're creating, if you have a working environment, you have A/B testing. We'll talk about that. Yeah, just different things.
And since this is, you know, clearly the beginning stages of the meetup, you know, we're very open to any suggestions from the community of what people are looking for, any sort of, you know, experience that you bring to the table that you'd be willing to share, anything that you are stuck on that you're looking for a little help on.
Yeah, because we don't mind not knowing the answers. Like, we have something that you want us to work on. It doesn't have to be like completely like we're going from point A to point B to point C. We can jump around and figure things out. We're very flexible with that type of thing. So yeah, so if you have something that's stumping you and you just want some help with that, bring it. We'll look at it.
First Mondays.
First Mondays of the month.
Do you validate parking?
Yeah, we're looking for anyone who wants
Steve,
snacks.
you're wonderful.
We invalidate egos.
I see what you did there.
Really great parker.
Oh, actually, your car is wonderful.
Yeah. You did an amazing job.
All right. Any questions?
The space you chose outside, that's wonderful. Now your parking's validated. I got that.
You guys are all welcome.
All right. What else should we go over tonight? Yes. Yep. 1, 2. Yep.
I looked around online for this today, and I didn't really see like the best answer. What about like securing the admin panel over SSL? Like, I was at Starbucks, I was going to update a client's website, and it's like, you know, I didn't really want the off chance somebody's like fire sheeting or sniffing or something.
Great question.
Paranoid, but
Great question. I'm going to try to keep that as out of code. I'm going to keep the conversation out of code as possible. But are there any plugins that we know about or simple ways to
There's a plugin called
secure
SSL.
SSL.
Yeah.
But it's an old, there's a
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, wait. Let's stop for 1 second. Anytime you see that yellow box at the top of a plugin listing, stay away. So that means don't use. It hasn't been updated over 2 years.
It's only been rated 15 times.
What's that?
It's a D rating at a boot place. Stay away from it.
That's correct.
Can you use the Force SSL on the admin specifically?
What is it?
Force SSL? Is that the name of the plugin ring?
What? No, it's mine's
No, I thought there was a plugin called Force SSL. That you can use, like, if you have an e-commerce site, they used to always force all the URLs to go to HTTPS. But I don't know if you can play
That one is bad as well.
Let's show everybody all the bad ones.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good plan.
Talk about that one?
That was the one I was talking about. That's not a good one.
Okay.
I mean, I think.
What's the matter with this one? There was a different one I was thinking of.
It thrashes like the CPU.
Is that a technical term?
Yes.
Thrashes? Okay.
Because basically, for every request, it goes to your server and checks if it has to be HTTPS. So if you have 15 scripts that are getting loaded, all those are getting checked against each other.
What if my site only gets 5 visitors a day?
Then 5 times 15.
You get 5 website users.
What's 5 times?
Less than thrashing.
Okay. Does that kind of help? Any other thoughts on securing WordPress? It doesn't at all.
Okay. For the average user in the room,
then let's talk about it.
So
brand is what you're going to find out directly is the best.
Yeah, so there's 2 things you can do, and it's a little nerdy, but you can use htaccess, like Dave said, to force everything to SSL, and right there, force SSL login, and it will always push everything in the admin to SSL. You have to have an SSL certificate. I mean, beyond that.
You can also secure the folder sometimes through the hosting control panel. You can put another username password layer on top of the WordPress layer. So before you hit WP dash admin, it'll say username password. You get the little window comes down. You have to log in once there, and then you get into the back end and log in again.
All my sites are hosted on GoDaddy. I can do that then.
Yeah. You can. You can know how to read it. You can do it.
Because they have a geek inside.
So I just did a search for administration over SSL, and it's in the WordPress codex. So there's some information there. Is this what you were thinking of, Jeff? No.
No.
Okay.
Again, I was playing about.
Okay.
If you're really worried about it, you could use a VPN and go through VPN to do it, but that's like outside of the scope of WordPress. But at least you'll be
Probably outside of the scope of this meetup.
Varnish.
Or stop taking government contracts.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would also say that you were right to not log in while you're at Starbucks. That was good, but don't do that.
I'll remember to do that next time I'm at Starbucks on there. Yeah. Yes. Hi.
When I've opened up, I'm ready to do a new post, and I want to add pictures, and then I look at preview, and it's so different than what I'm getting in my little screen, even when I open it up to the full view. Is there a formula for adding photos to be? Is it the size of the theme that I've chosen, or is it something that I'm just missing? I want to add photos to a post.
Okay.
And I would add maybe 3 across, and I see it in the screen that I'm working in, a small screen. Like it says add new post in that area. And then when I look at preview, it's all over the board.
That's probably something that's going on in your theme. That's my guess. All I did here was I set this. I've got my install that I was working with earlier. I've reset this to 2012. Okay, so I'm making a new post. We're going to do an image test. Okay, I'm assuming, are you using the latest version of WordPress?
What?
Are you using the latest version of WordPress? Okay, so I'm going to add some media. Okay. Are you then inserting the media into the post like this, like I just did? I uploaded some files and I inserted them into the post.
Like separate posts with Word, yes.
Okay. And then when you go into the post and preview it, you're saying the images are looking off.
One's here, one's over here, and the wording. And so, I've been thinking that maybe it could be the theme or my screen I've got larger than it's.
Most likely that is theme specific. Most likely.
Okay.
So it's something.
The size of the photo she's pulling in.
That's true.
How the photos are set to pull in, if they're set to pull in inline, or how they're aligned to the text and to each other, depending on the width of the photos. There's lots of different.
Go ahead.
Ways that
Pull that dialog box up.
Yeah. So you're talking about this, the settings here, or in the media itself?
Yeah, like when you.
You're talking about here?
Yeah, I do that and get that ready, and it's one on the left and one on the right, and then it just.
Are you wrapping text?
If you're talking about left aligning and right aligning, again, that I know
I can
that.
understand.
What's that?
That I can understand. What did you just say?
I was just asking if you're wrapping text, right? Are these photos in
I would like to.
Yeah.
So again,
can I address this real quick? My guess is that it's not theme. So my guess, without actually seeing you do it, and maybe we can take 5 minutes when this is done and go in and watch you do it. Yeah. My guess is that the size of your images are off for the width of what you're posting. And what we really need to do is set it up so that it's brain dead for you to pull in and select the size. So if you want to do 2 across, for example, you know that I need this many pixels for each image to put across. It's just it's a clunky way of doing it.
I think clunky is cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my guess is it's a hybrid of what Jeff said and your theme.
My guess is he's just saying that because he likes to prove the standard deviation.
My guess is I'm right.
What's the name of your thing?
What's that? Say it louder.
It could be the combination of the CSS styling on the photo and
Yes.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So
It'd be
say,
a combination of the CSS style and the photo.
I want you to stand up and speak up. Since I'm losing my
what Jeff
voice.
just said.
What Jeff said.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You say
Well,
what you said.
in certain themes, there's a styling of the photo. Sometimes there'll be a frame around it. Sometimes there'll be a color border. There's sometimes whoever built the theme styled the photos to be. And so it could be that plus the size of the photo. And if you have two that are off the width, then the other one's going to drop over or be funky or, yeah. So if you take the CSS off or you change the size or, yeah.
The reason that we're both saying it's possibly the theme is because the theme contains the CSS. So your CSS might not be addressing floats correctly, left and right floats, might not be addressing sizing correctly, padding, things like that. But we'll take a look afterwards. What else?
I'm interested if anybody here has tried Twitter.
I've tried Twitter.
I used it just today.
Thank you. Next.
This is kind of a Debbie designer thing, but Twitter Bootcamp, and I'm bringing it up because Natalie's in the room and some other people here that are more on the dev side. But has anybody used Twitter Bootcamp as? So it's just
Bootstrap.
Bootstrap. Yeah, Bootstrap. See, I'm just one rung below you, Jeff. But
I'm
it
so
allows
sorry.
you to, yeah.
Their framework.
It's a framework. It's like, here's a whole bunch of jQuery you can use to do a lot of cool things like modal boxes or, tooltip pop-ups that are really cool out of the box or things like that. And my question is, if anybody has used it, would you recommend using it in a theme? Is it supported?
I've seen a handful of themes that are starting to use it for responsive because of the 12 column responsive grid. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, well,
Just keep
kind of
tweeting.
the genesis of it, if I could throw it out. For anybody who wants to investigate it, I spent a little time on it, and there's some really cool stuff in it. My only question is how durable is this? But Twitter is the one who did this open source thing, says here it is. If you want to use this as a foundation to build on it, we're giving this to the world. So
cool.
There's a lot of use in the Ruby on Rails world. You can build a site very quickly off the template and not have to make too many changes. So it's kind of like your underscore state.
Cool. All right. What else? I know there's more questions out there.
Look, it works in IE7 too.
What's that?
It works in IE7 too.
Yeah, go figure.
I'm using an old theme.
I'm sorry.
I'm using an old.
I know. I'm sorry.
I keep my WordPress updated. So when do I need to worry about it, or?
Is it working?
Yes.
No.
Does that turn down?
That's the stuff. That's the stuff. Say it louder.
Do you, a lot of old themes use a program called Tim Thumb.
No, it's not.
Okay. Yeah, because there was a really bad security vulnerability in old versions of Tim Thumb. So they keep finding that popping up in old themes.
Security on your site, and that way, in case there's anything that's really old theme that's found, it might catch it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I worry about is security holes that might be exposed. But if it's working, well,
I bought two. It's page lines. I bought two.
What is it?
Page lines. I bought.
Did you say page lines?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't say that word. Her part is not validated.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is a tough crowd tonight. What else? Yep.
Development desktop, is that a free program?
No, it's not.
Well,
Desktop server.
There's a free version of it.
There's how many?
Is
3 sites.
Free sites.
So there's a free version that gives you 3 sites. I was wrong. I stand corrected. But the full version is $50.
Oh, okay.
So it's well worth the cost of admission. Yeah.
Web hosting.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you were joking when you said GoDaddy or Bluehost or anything.
Yes. I was joking when I said GoDaddy.
And so web hosting, my sites are not moving as fast as I would like them.
What does that mean? They're not loading as fast as
They're
you
not
would?
loading fast enough for my customers.
Okay.
Is there a better?
Where are you hosting now?
Bluehost.
Okay, so Bluehost is fine for most situations, depending on the amount of traffic that you're doing. What I would recommend actually is start looking at a caching plugin. We've talked about them a lot here. So you might look at installing WP Super Cache. Without knowing much about what you're doing, this may get you pretty far as loading time. So.
And Steve, don't you think her problem is precise, right?
Go ahead.
I mean, honestly, I spent a lot of time the past 2 weeks thinking about this, and unless you're getting a couple hundred people a day or more, yeah, the caching is not going to do that much. It's probably just that you're on a shared server. And you're over.
That could be true.
Could be something to think.
That could be true. And the only reason I suggest this is I had a client call me this week with your exact same issue.
Could be the CSS styling.
So, hang on one second. So I had a client call me this past week with this exact same issue. The site was loading slowly. Okay. The specific issue was that there were too many calls to the database because of the way that the theme was developed. So it could possibly be a theme issue for you. So Eric could be right. It may just be your host. So that may be causing it. I would take a look at WP Super Cache or W3 Total Cache. This one's a little bit easier to configure. Okay? So W3 Super Cache will then offset the load from the database and let Apache do the work for you. I'm sorry if I'm getting a little geeky, but Dennis?
I'm not a geek. I mean, a little bit, not much. And I highly respect what you say, but I use Bluehost, and when I put on a caching trouble, my site speed runs the max.
Well, it can. But I guess what I'm saying is I think that in general, if you're not getting a ton of traffic to your site, a caching plugin isn't going to change that much.
Specifically, my case, I get 100 visitors a day on average.
Yeah.
And my speed went up to the right.
Well, that can happen, but that's why I would test it out, and you don't see a major difference.
So let's talk about how to test it out. Okay, so one of the things you might want to look at before you install this is one of the tools I use is called Pingdom. Don't make fun of me. So Pingdom, just go and type in your site, and it'll give you an analysis of how fast it's loading. There's plenty of other tools that do this. This is just the one I prefer. So do a Pingdom analysis before you install Super Cache, and then do one after, and see if there's a speed difference. And then if there's not, call Eric. Yes.
Also, a real low-bar solution. If you are on a low-tier hosting, you can just open a ticket and complain. They don't get too many of those, so normally they might move you to a server that's not fully populated yet. And so then 6 months later, they populate the server and you open another ticket.
Absolutely. And while I'm kind of half making fun of Eric because we're friends. That could be your issue. You could just be on a server that's got a high load. Yes? It's possible.
But I think the better thing, I mean, considering this is not the group from 2 weeks ago where we talked about caching I think the better thing to discuss is maybe what is shared hosting and why should you be really careful about it.
Okay, sure. Let's discuss that. What is shared hosting, Eric?
So most people, the reason why you can get your site hosted for $5 or $3 or whatever it is, right, is because your hosting company is taking and putting as many sites as they possibly can onto one server. And then get it to as close to something reasonably high on load, and then they put more sites in the next server, and the next server, and the next server, right? And so that's how they do it. They're just cramming as many as they can. So what happens is when something starts happening on your server, and what is most of the case, the time that I've experienced, is other people doing stupid things on your server, and by stupid things meaning not updating WordPress and being, somebody on Twitter said they had a site that was on 1.5, but when the site didn't, so that would be a problem, right? Yeah, so they don't allow you to keep it.
Blue, how do they check?
Yeah.
They only.
They send you notices, they keep sending you notices.
Really? If you've used their one-click install. If I've installed it myself, though, they're not going to know.
You can't do it.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so they create all these sites in the server. So if somebody starts doing something stupid, or the case scenario, even two is we have to be very careful. If somebody on your server starts emailing out, if you use them for email, and they start emailing out and using it as a spam sending email, then not only will your site maybe not work, but your email that you send out may not get through your people because it's the same idea, right? So, if you have a site that's not just you're casually sharing something, I think if it's a business-related site, you really should look at a higher-end hosting option. It's going to cost you more, but then you have to deal with these issues. Or if you do have the issues, there's somebody to call that you can actually talk to that actually knows what they're talking about that can help you out.
And Bluehost is a decent host. I've actually had good success with Bluehost in the past.
Chrome?
I have Chrome.
So the inspect element, and one of the things I show people a lot is the timeline.
Timeline? Yep. So
to refresh the page.
This is the local equivalent of Pingdom. So inside of Chrome, I'm looking at their developer tools. There's this timeline element, and it'll show me how fast something's loading.
Refresh it.
I did. I have to turn on. I'm doing it on the fly here, but I have to turn something on to make it work.
But one of the things I see a lot is
this
DNS time.
There we go.
Where you're using a GoDaddy or somebody as a free DNS, and you've got a lot of different URLs, and it takes a long time for it to get the DNS, but short time to download everything. The site's fast. It's the connectivity and round trips, and so there's a lot of. I see a lot more of that in a decently performant host. A lot of network traffic.
Yeah. So specifically, this client, when I dug deeper into what was going on with the slowness issue, was actually related to what Kathy was saying. It was a poorly designed theme. So it was literally a theme that was custom programmed by somebody that was in-house at this client. And when I really dug deeper and went into the server, what it was doing was causing a bunch of PHP errors. So it was literally thousands and thousands of PHP errors that were just being generated every minute. That's what the slowness was being caused by.
Huge error bar.
The P3 profile.
That's it. What's that?
The P3 profile will tell you about a bad plugin or overload and stuff like that. Debug.
This one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ironically made by GoDaddy.
Ironically made by GoDaddy. Yes. Yeah.
GoDaddy's evil, not stupid.
You reminded me of this. Do you normally install WordPress custom all the time, or is there a problem using like a one-click install on hosting services?
I don't personally, because everything I do runs through a Git repository. But I don't see any problem if you're just doing casual WordPress installs, do a one-click install. The only problem I see with that is if that's your only site and you're making changes, you are at that point cowboy coding. So you are at that point cowboy coding. What that term means is, thank you, Eric. What that term means is you're working on your production server. So if you're making any sort of WordPress updates or plugin updates, or you go in and change code, you're only working on the one server that your audience is seeing. So if you make a mistake, your site could go down. So that's the only issue I see with it.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you use a Git repository with DesktopServer?
2 weeks from now.
We'll cover that at Developer Day. We actually have covered that before. It's not, and did we cover it last time or the time before that? I don't know.
Yeah, they're all recorded. If you go on ocwp.org, you can look at the recordings, just like we're recording tonight. I record every one of these sessions, so if you go on there, you can watch them all in depth.
It's not built in. It's not straightforward. So,
Okay.
to give you a quick answer for your question. think we'll end there. Oh, I'm sorry, one more. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to find out, is there a way to condense the comment section? Like, the comment shows, but, you know, the heading, the title shows that you can't actually see the comments. Is there a plugin to do that?
I don't know. Is there a plugin to fold up comments, to condense the comments?
I think it's built into the theme, like stuff like that. Yeah. Usually built into the theme.
Do you know any themes that do that?
Accordion.
Yeah.
They're threaded comments. So, I mean, the comments are threaded. So.
Yeah, but she wants them to actually fold up in an accordion style.
I think discuss. No?
I think she's looking for something more built in.
Okay.
So Sarah was saying that Discuss has that built in. Sarah was saying that Discuss might have that built in. Okay, so DISQUS is Discuss, but that's not built into WordPress. That's an external commenting platform. So I think we'll end there. We'll network here for about 20 minutes or so, talk amongst yourselves, and then we will reconvene at the House of Brews in the Huntington Harbor. We drink both during and after the meeting, so we'll see you over there. And we'll be back here 2 weeks from tonight for Developer Day, and 1 week from tonight for Design for WordPress. All right.
They don't map it out, like they get scheduled.
And so the local version, you could just work on that. Okay.